afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Let's talk about trips. Vacation time is upon us, and a lot of folks are kind of waiting just a little bit of time. 4th of July is going to be here before you know it, and that's when a lot of folks go on vacation, the first 2 weeks in July. We go just at various times. I'll give you an idea. We were married actually right at Labor Day weekend. And so when we take trips, we don't choose that weekend because it's so much more expensive. Whether you go a couple of weeks before our wedding anniversary or a couple of weeks later, our anniversary. So that's just another way we save quite a bit of money. You can almost cut the price of your trip in half if you do it that way. And going ahead and go to somewhere like Priceline.com several weeks before the trip destination time, and you'll save quite a bit of money. We're planning on going to San Antonio, Texas. So we went to Priceline.com, and because we did this several weeks ahead of time, we're flying out, we're staying 3 nights for $402 each. That pays for the flight, and it also pays for the hotel room. Thought that was a pretty good deal, especially in today's world. So not so shabby. Not so shabby. So we've got 25 tips for you for sustainable travel, and this is with kids. So we're going to have some kids time too. So let's just go ahead and start diving into the tips. Let's say the first one is choose sustainable lodging, and I really do like this. This is what we do. So one of the largest expenses and likely largest carbon footprints related to lodging relates to lodging. So to the extent possible, consider choosing a more sustainable alternative during your planning process. So this is what they suggest, and we do this. Rent a room or an apartment. A hotel is great for quick 1 or 2 night stays, and that's just for 1 or 2 people, but staying for several days over the large group of people, consider the benefits of renting an apartment or a house in the area from where you're going to be traveling to. So what we like to do around Christmas time, a few weeks before, or maybe even a few weeks after Christmas, we like to meet Brad and Larissa somewhere kind of halfway between. And so I always go to a website where I can choose a house to rent. And it's big enough for all of us. There'll be a couple, 3 bedrooms. There'll actually be a kitchen because they like my home cooking. So I usually bring some cooking food there too, cakes and stuff like that. And then we're not spending quite so much money eating out. Now we do like to eat out, but we're not spending so much eating out on every single meal. I like to cook breakfast, so it's much cheaper to cook it inside a room somewhere than it is to actually go out and eat every breakfast, especially if you're staying for several days. It's a good way to, you need to plan ahead now. You'll get the best rates when you plan ahead. And so, anyway, that's what we always do. And it's cozier. You know, it's a house, and we do a lot of laughing and cutting up, playing games and stuff like that. And if you're at a hotel, well, then you got to have 2 different hotel rooms. There's not enough room to really meet. But if you rent a house or if you rent a room, it's going to be a lot cheaper, and it's going to be a lot easier. So rent a room, an apartment. A hotel is great, like we said, for 1 or 2 people and for a couple of nights, but rent a house. Now there's a couple here I've never used. Now Airbnb, Plum Guide, I've never been to that one. So both these websites offer apartments and home rentals for vacation, but Plum Guide specializes in high-end and luxury homes. They are different with their listings by inspecting each one in person before they approve, and each one they psych out and including it on their site, so you know that each property will be lovely just like you expected based on the photos. You can get something that's not quite like it shows in the pictures. Oh, by the way, make sure you check out the recommendations. People will be honest about whether they like staying somewhere or not. And also just based on the description of the site. Now there's an even growing number of eco-friendly hotels and beds, breakfast options. Some seem to be more greenwashing than others. So do your research, but it's worth investigation. So no matter which platform you use to rent a house or a room with access to a kitchen or kitchenette, you can save a lot of money and also reduce single-use plastic and food waste by preparing some meals at home instead of eating out on each meal. Breakfast is especially like I just said, in your rental property. It'll save you a lot of money and time grabbing a quick bite to eat before you head out for the day. You can also stay with family and friends. So if there's enough space, you can survive it staying with friends and family. Save money on renting a space to stay while also reducing the carbon footprint, they say, of lodging. There's no additional carbon footprint when you, with your friends and family, already consider it home. And another thing, if you're going to stay with family and friends and they're footing the bill for you to be there, offer them out to eat sometime. Okay, you're still saving money. So if you're going to stay with, say, some cousins who live in North Carolina or whatever, go on ahead and take them out to eat. I mean, that's just a nice thing to do. Okay, so we talked about lodging. Let's go on ahead and talk about preparing your home to be away. So while not part of the actual vacation, there are many things you can do before you leave to reduce waste and energy usage. This is a good one right here. And this is what we do every time we meet Brad and Larissa. So use or freeze food before leaving. For example, use up the food you have or store leftovers in the freezer while you're gone. It might be nice to have a few things to pull in the freezer that you would like to eat when you arrive home before you make it to the grocery store to refill the cabinets. And that's another reason I like to do that is, man, you've been on a trip, you're just tired. Even though you've had a whole bunch of fun, you're pretty tired. You're pretty exhausted. Who wants to cook when you get home? So that's just another great thing to do. Adjust your thermostat for reduced energy usage. So turn down your heat or air conditioning, depending on the time of the year, to use less energy while you're away. That way you won't come back to a huge bill. Be careful not to turn down the heat too much so that the pipes freeze. You got to be careful of that. But changing the temperature management just a few degrees can save a lot of money and resources not to use heating or cooling appliances in a home where there's no one living. Close the blinds. Okay, natural light is lovely, but we really don't need it when we're away. So window blinds help keep heat inside during winter and reduce the heat during the winter during the summer. Keeping the blinds closed should also help limit the amount of energy you need to use while away to manage the internal temperature of your home. Pack thoughtfully. Sustainable travel definitely benefits from intentional packing. Bring only what you need, but not much more. Now, a few things like water bottles and snacks can reduce waste, but there's nothing worse than lugging around a bunch of things you'll never need. I remember back in the day, Phil and I would take vacations, and the first camcorders that came out were huge and really heavy. And it was like, I would hope that he was okay with carrying it, because that big camcorder carrying it around on your shoulder, he'd be so tired by the end of the day. And he said, I don't want to miss any movies. We're going to have a lot of video of this trip. And I'd say, but is it worth it? Because the camcorder weighs like a small ton. We talked about packing light. Chances are you probably don't need it, so pack light. Plan to mix and match and rewear your clothes. And plan for what you expect to happen, not all the things that could possibly happen. You know, like your grandmother would say, plan enough underwear and put it in there, okay, just in case you need it. Probably going to need all of that. Pack light. Light luggage makes it easier to walk and use public transportation as well. It also increases energy efficiency for cars and for planes, even if the difference you make is small. Lighter luggage for all passengers will add up, and truly light luggage is just more pleasant to manage. So packing light also means less laundry when you get home, and it's a win for the planet, they say, and for the sanity of all of us. One thing we like to do, and I think it's probably mentioned down here a little bit later, we like to go to the thrift store and buy clothes and take those what we're going to wear. Although sometimes I want to carry them home because I really like what I get at the resale shop. But that's another good thing to do. If you're going overseas and you're going, say, on a missionary trip, that's an awesome thing to do. Carry your clothes and leave them there for the villagers, and they really like them. Even if they can't wear your size, they can resize them and they can make things out of it. Bring reusable water bottles. For the eco nerds, this is probably pretty standard fare, but given how many disposable plastic water bottles we use collectively every day, it needs to be said time and time again. Please bring your own water bottles. They're more convenient, and they keep your water colder for longer, and they're just plain better. Sure, there's an exception or two. But by and large, if you could afford a family vacation, you can afford a reusable water bottle. Ditching single-use plastic water bottles won't save the planet alone, but it's a real good place to start. Pack your own snacks. Yeah, that saves you a lot of money. A candy bar at a resort place is going to be $5 versus I get one here and get a whole pack of them. So bring your own snacks, whether they're a fancy stash, reusable bag, a pretty container, or a boring Ziploc plastic bag. I'm okay with Ziploc plastic bags that you can use and reuse or repeat. Put a few snacks of your own for the road. You can also buy snacks in bulk or without packaging for easier at home than you typically can while you're traveling. That's a gimme right there. And for every parent who gets hungry or has children that gets angry, it's just good sense to have snacks around. Bring towels and napkins to clean up messes. Why would we do that? Okay, the cloth hand towels are perfect to clean up messes. Inevitable when you have kids, or if I'm going with you on your trip, I'm going to make a mess. You can also bring along excess napkins you receive from takeout orders or other experiences. Because we choose reusable dishcloths at home, we rarely need the napkins included for takeout orders, says the author of this trip. But car trips are the perfect time to use them. Okay, pack zero waste eating kits. What's that? Okay, limit single-use plastic by bringing your own zero-use waste kits of utensils, straws, and other accessories that you may need for meals and snacks. And I'll tell you, this happens a lot. You go to a drive-through and everybody's rushed, not enough employees there to manage. Almost every single time, they're not going to put in the spoons and the forks and all those kind of things that you need. So you'll have those things already in your vehicle if you take it a road trip. Okay, because we choose reusable, they're talking about the orders, the reusable orders. But she also keeps utensils, straws, and other accessories that could be needed for snacks, especially if somebody doesn't put it in, your drive-through order. Because nobody wants to drive back through and get in line again because they forgot to put the utensils in there. But you may have all the items you need on hand. Don't have to worry about locating and purchasing them on the road. That's a grand idea. Let's go ahead and cut to a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a few minutes. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Let Rhonda at Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC take the burden off you for all your tax needs. I know because Rhonda has been taking care of my business since 2013. I feel Rhonda works for me because she knows the direct questions to ask to better benefit my unique business in order for me to get back the biggest refund possible. Rhonda is an ongoing student, and she knows tax laws are in a constant change every year. Call 256-281-9903 for an appointment to take the dread out of getting your taxes done. Rhonda is located at 11968 U.S. Highway 431 in Boaz. Again, that number is 256-281-9903. And let Rhonda's Elite Tax LLC champion your personal and business taxes. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, toys at Christmas, or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. Okay, so we're back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182, Charter Communications, Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And check out the podcast, netnewsnetwork.net. Thank you so much for watching. So we're talking about vacations. How can I save money? There's all kinds of great ways, and doing it on a budget with kids is really easy. With this article is from honestlymodern.com. So we're back to talking about borrowing or buying secondhand clothing and equipment, which can save you a lot of money. Think about this. You're going on a skiing trip, okay? And you live in Alabama, you're probably not going to use skiing equipment very often. Buy it secondhand. Or see if you have a friend who frequently goes, and maybe you could use some of their equipment. That's going to save you a lot of money right there. Also clothes that you can leave behind. That would be great too. There's always going to be a shelter who could use the clothing. So before you check out of your hotel, ask the person at the front desk if they would be willing to give those clothes to a secondhand shelter. I bet they'd do it, and it'd make them look good too. Okay, borrow activities for downtime. There's going to be some downtime. So if you don't already have plenty of books, games, or other activities for travel days and downtime, consider borrowing from a local library or for friends. You might also consider requesting to borrow items from neighbors or in a Buy Nothing group. And there's a link here. It's Buy Nothing group. So many coloring books, sticker activity books, and more sit on shelves without getting used, and they make great travel activities. Don't forget audio books too, by the way. Almost all libraries have physical audio books, and many libraries have digital versions as well as ebooks these days. So check out the Libby app. It's Libby app on your phone or tablet to use these types of materials, even when you're away from home. Now, if your kids aren't audio book fans, try ways to get kids hooked on audiobooks. There's a link here. And if those don't get them excited. Podcasts are another good option for travel entertainment for kids. And there's a link, and you can Google this, 20 plus great podcasts for kids. And so that's always a win-win situation right there as well. Now, utilize the sustainable living social structures at your destination. Wherever you go, someone else probably already lives there and chooses sustainable living options for their everyday lives. To the extent possible, make the most of the green living options your destination already has. Choose lower carbon emission transportation options if they're available. There are many options and factors to consider when searching for the lowest greenhouse gas emission transportation option. Aside from flying, trains, and other shared transportation options like buses, Phil and I, when we go to New York or anywhere that has it, a hop-on, hop-off bus is awesome. And they're free. I mean, you just hop on, hop off. It's a great way to get around a big city right there. A lot of trains, especially in Europe, are often less expensive and faster than other transportation modes as well. So contrary to conventional eco-wisdom, however, driving is not always the better option with flying in respect to allocation greenhouse gas emissions. So what they mean by this, data from the United States Environmental Protection Agency and the International Council on Clean Travel, along with other researchers, you have to do your own research for that as well, conclude that the analysis of carbon emissions from flying versus driving depends heavily on factors such as the plane model, the vehicle model, and the distance traveled and the number of passengers participating in the trip. So if you're renting a car, choose an electric car if it's available and within your budget. Now, if you're going to spend double the amount or 3 times the amount, don't go there. You got to use your brain for this. Be sure you understand how to find chargeable stations around your destinations. That's what I'd be concerned with. Are there going to be enough around? But as long as you're comfortable with the charging infrastructure, you can save money charging the battery instead of paying for gas. So this is what Phil and I like to do. We kind of map it out. And with Google Maps, it's easy to do nowadays. So we wanted to go and be close to the Riverwalk. There's lots of things you can do at the Riverwalk in San Antonio, Texas. We're going to walk most of the destination because and that's what we do a lot. We went to Chicago. We stayed on Magnificent Avenue, I think is what they call it. Magnificent Mile is what they call it. So we stayed on Magnificent Mile and walked everywhere we went, even to this really neat Gino's Pizza place. By the way, the world's best pizza was there. And we'll close some, but anyway, it was a great place to stay. We even went to church across the street from the hotel that we were in. And it was supposedly the first church organized in the United States. Man, it was beautiful. It was magnificent. The choir didn't have equipment. It was the acoustics of the building that was built way back several hundred years ago. And it was just bright. It was beautiful. The woodwork on it was just beautiful. But anyway, you can do a lot of walking. That's what people in Europe do, right? Okay, stay in one destination. Now, it's tempting. I know it is. It's tempting to hit up a bunch of places while you're traveling. After all, you might not have a chance to get back, especially if you're a long way from home. But staying in one place for a longer period of time is often less stressful, allows you to see and experience the culture more intimately, and reduces the carbon emissions from travel between destinations. That's why we want to go to the Riverwalk. I mean, you can spend several days at the Riverwalk. And you won't run out of places to see. We'll have one hotel, and again, it's costing us less than $400 each to go. And it's for several days, and it's going to be a fun trip. And we can go at our own pace. We don't have to rush around for anything. So this is going to be like a true vacation. Support local businesses while you're there, by the way. Chain restaurants and big boxes are tempting because they're so familiar, but skip the spots you can find at home. I mean, what's the whole idea? So what you want to do is support local shops and businesses while you're traveling. Keep tourism dollars in the local community as a significant boost to the local economy. It's also a great way to connect with people from the area and learn more about the culture and their local gyms. So don't be afraid to ask employees for other recommendations like a good local restaurant or fun shops to check out. They'll tell you. They're also most likely to be stroked to share their recommendations and promote their local small business counterparts. And I'll tell you something I've learned you can do. Find this local business on Facebook. I'm pretty sure they're going to have a Facebook page. And then what you can do is say, if I give you a good recommendation, would you give me a little bit off of the price of the meal? They usually will do that. Check it out. It's always a good thing to ask for. Visit local parks and playgrounds for entertainment. Most kids love checking out new parks and playgrounds, and there are also some amazing playgrounds in so many locations. Find a local playground when you're ready for a play break. It's relaxing for you and the kids. Playgrounds are an awesome way to enjoy entertainment for free, and free is always good, right? You can also search for playgrounds using Google Maps. It's a great source. Everybody has Google Maps on their phone. They can also find photos of playgrounds built into the Google Maps interface. So you can see photos of nearby playgrounds, decide which one best meets the needs of your children, depending on their age and their interests. That's a good thing to do. This is one that's a real good one right here. Won't cost you a dime. If it's hot outside, check out the local library. Great things to do there. Don't limit your library use just to your home library. You can use libraries while you're traveling. So public libraries are public, meaning anyone can use them. Stop in to read in the air-conditioned space on a hot day. Check out the library calendar of events to see what they might offer while you're visiting. A lot of times they have events on those days that cost absolutely nothing. Librarians love sharing their space with neighbors near and far. They want to know that you came by. Make sure you tell them you're traveling. Hike in a local park. How much does that cost you? Zip. Consider finding a park or hiking path to explore the best of nature in the area. Even a 20-minute hike is fun, and it offers a breath of fresh air. And I'm going to tell you something I do. When we travel, I don't buy souvenirs. No. While we're walking, I'll look down at the pavement, or I may look on a hiking trail. I'll look, and I'm going to find a pretty rock, and I'm going to make a nice piece of jewelry out of it when I get home. I'm not talking about gravels that have been brought in. I'm talking about a rock. Now, this is my rule for rocks, okay? So a lot of you want me to make necklaces out of your travels. So what I'm always looking for, if you want me to make you a necklace, I need something that has kind of a flat bottom or flat back. Circular, it does. I don't care about the size or about the shape or anything like that. But it needs to look kind of like a cabochon. Try to make it as oval or as round as you possibly can, but on the back of it really needs to be flat so I can have good wire working to work with. Okay, so that's what I like to do. That is a true, because this is what happens. You go into a shop and they have souvenirs. It's probably something that was not even from there. They probably had it piped in from Japan or China or something. I'm talking about something true that's going to be a rock. Make it small as you possibly can. That way it doesn't look real gaudy, So anyway, another show I'm going to show you some of the rocks I've used. Okay. We've got less than a minute. They're saying that. Skip the souvenir shops. I can't believe this. Okay, so standard souvenirs won't store your memories. Take photos is what they suggest you do. Immerse yourself in the moment. Enjoy your company and your new destination without worrying about knickknacks to remember your vacation. How many coffee mugs do you need? My refrigerator, we went from coffee mugs to getting magnets to go in the refrigerator. You can't even see the refrigerator. We have so many magnets. If you find something you need that you know you're going to use over and over again for a long time, go ahead and buy it. That way you're going to remember, oh, that was that trip right there at the Riverwalk in San Antonio. Something that you're always going to remember. Many of the souvenirs are poorly made by underpaid laborers. Remember that. And also save your money for something that's going to bring you more joy and leave the world with better waste. With least waste. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got these travel tips, and I hope you enjoyed the show today. If you have any ideas or any questions about the show, something you'd like for me to report on, send an email, donna@donnasedge.com. That's my email address. I'll be glad to take into account anything and do some research for you as well. Again, thank you so much for watching. You are the apple of my eye. Bye-bye.